Can you have your seat, please, in order to respect the time of the session? We have so many speakers during this session and a very limited time. Thank you so much. Okay, just invite Mr. Dulon. Yes, please. Okay, hello everybody. It's really a pleasure to be with you here. This is my first time. I'm a Professor Mohammed, a non-profit organization specialized in AI and the biggest one in North Africa. And it's really an honor to be with you here. This is my first time to visit this wonderful country, Kazakhstan. I really love it and I feel like in my country. And today we'll be speaking about something very important regarding AI. And as you know that artificial intelligence is a multi-purpose technology that can be used in every sector. And it is really hard to think of a sector where AI cannot be applied. But I don't think it's necessary to remind everyone here of the benefits of AI and the capabilities that AI can provide, but because actually everyone know about the benefits and also the many advantages that AI provide. But during this session, we're gonna discuss something very important. We know that artificial intelligence, especially the second wave of AI, after the first one that started in 2012 with the deep learning, the second one has started with what we call generative AI. And this generative AI has transformed radically the way we innovate, the way we create new things. And we found really very hard to define and determine the boundaries between human creativity and also the machine and the capabilities that can provide to us. So this session will be very important, but before starting this session, we have the honor, we have the real honor to have with us the Minister of Justice of the Republic of Kazakhstan, the Honorable Yerlan Sarsembayev, who will give the opening speech of this session. A round of applause, please.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the global AI and this panel session is quite important for us. I'm glad to welcome you all the participants of this panel session. I would like to wish good luck and say thank you. Among them, we have the experts, representatives from the expert society as well as representatives from other areas. I would like to say a huge thank you to the Director General of the WIPO, Darren Tang, for his efforts and impact in this field. Thank you so much. Today, the world is experiencing and entering to the new technological era, as well as captures not only the technology but also changes the world by its innovations. According to the statistics of WIPO, today all around the world are more than 340,000 applications in the patent, and the data is growing from America, China, such countries. develop and consider those directions in technology as well as affects modern world laws. And Kazakhstan also plays its own role within this process, and we do not only consider it as an institute but also as a strategic tool. At the same time, we do see that there are creative approach and the growth within this aspect and the direct impulse to the further growth and the development of this field is one of the most necessary tasks for us. Within this, we discuss such issues as ethical dilemma, as well as the legal principles, as well as design of the laws and regulations. And this topic's been discussed at the international level. Within today's panel session, the representatives of international organizations, as well as from business societies and scientific fields, should be focused and work jointly on these directions. And we do hope that on today's panel session, we will have an open discussion format and we will receive all the necessary answers to all questions. I would like to wish you all the success. Thank you.
Much, Minister, for this inspiring speech, and also you remind us of the high priority of innovation and intellectual property that the Republic of Kazakhstan is trying to keep. That was really inspiring, and after this official opening, we're gonna move to our panelists, and during the session we have 10 speakers, okay? And we're gonna share with you very useful insights in order to get an overview about innovation and intellectual property, because actually everyone is talking about AI. And the way we are innovating in research and development in something that is transforming. So before moving to the experience of each country, let's get started with the World Intellectual Property Organization, okay? This is the main institution around the world, and I'm glad to ask the question to Mr. Darian Tong, okay? Yes. Thank you for coming, and I will start with you to give us a brief overview. You know that with Gen AI in the past 3 years, many things and many processes about innovation has changed. So what is your view about this, and how can you envision the future of intellectual property?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Salem. It's a pleasure to be with you. And I have to say that as someone who was from the Singapore government for a long time, before I joined the WIPO as the Director General, it's a pleasure to be here in Astana for the first time. Congratulations to all my Kazakh brothers and sisters. You built a beautiful capital, amazing, modern, and really embodying the spirit of modern Kazakhstan, while not forgetting your culture as well. So congratulations to all of the Kazakhs and for this amazing forum. The issue of AI, I like to put this in a bit of a global perspective and historical perspective. I think the trend that we see with Gen AI in the last 3 years is part of a larger trend over the last maybe 10 to 15 years, where digital innovation is transforming traditional innovation. And I don't think we need to look far to get good examples of this. If you look at the car, for example, the car is less and less an industrial machine and more like a computer on 4 wheels. If you go to any part of life now, you go to the hospital, if you go to a manufacturing facility, the machines are driven by software. There's algorithms everywhere. That's part of our life. Even the way we create content and the way that we consume content has become more and more digital. And in fact, last year, globally, there were about 3 to 3.5 million patents filed. And of that, right, 1/3 of all these patents were connected to digital technologies and digital innovation, AI, but also cybersecurity, quantum computing, 5G, 6G, IoT, and so on and so forth. So the big story, global story on innovation is that digital innovation is transforming traditional innovation. And the other big story which I wanted to share, especially with all of you in this audience, is that we're not just talking about machines and robots, but also about culture and heritage. Just now, I just had lunch with some of the other dignitaries, and we were very pleased that Dimash came to sing for us. And for those of you who are Kazakhstan, I think you know who's Dimash. He's an amazing singer. His vocal range is 6 octaves. But people like Dimash are making use of digital technologies, right, to express themselves in new ways. And he's, of course, combining traditional Kazakh instruments with his voice, but portraying that culture in a way that's digital, using anime and all these sort of things to express themselves. So what we're seeing, the big trend in innovation is that digital innovation is combining with industrial innovation and with cultural innovation. Think about South Korea. South Korea is not just an industrial powerhouse producing machines, but it's become a creative powerhouse producing K-pop, K-drama. So the future of innovation and who will win at the innovation game are countries that are able to combine different types of innovation together. And especially with countries like Kazakhstan, we have a very rich culture, rich history. How do you draw on that culture, history, that heritage, combine it with technology so that you've got software, content, music, entertainment, machines, robots, all coming together, and that's really the future of innovation. But within this large trend, generative AI, of course, has become headlines. And in fact, the patenting for generative AI has grown by 800% over the last 6 years. But I want to put things in perspective as well. Actually, large language models and what AI is doing has been around for 20, 30 years. So this is not really new technology, but what's new is that the amount of data and the amount of learning, right, has transformed over the last few years. And so I think we need to be careful not to look at this new technology as some kind of God that will replace us as human beings. And for me as a musician, my own views is that, someone used to play jazz piano, until my father told me to stop playing jazz piano and be a proper lawyer instead. As someone who still remains very close to the music world, I feel that Gen AI is able to reproduce and able to replicate. And I don't see Gen AI having that spark of genuine human creativity. I don't see Gen AI is able to, it can learn from all the paintings of Monet and all the Impressionists, but I don't think Gen AI will be able to move from Impressionism to Cubism to Picasso. So I think we should look at Gen AI as a tool and not put it on the pedestal and make it like a god or make it as a new species, at least not now. Unless someone tells me in this audience that there's some radical change in the AI technology, I think we're very far away from artificial general intelligence, in fact. So as a tool, what we should do as member states and what WIPO wants to help all of you as member states is to make sure that the tool is regulated so that we manage the risks and the threats that the tool poses, and we make sure that we also give the opportunities that comes with the tool. What are some of the challenges and threats that come from Gen AI? Well, things which are connected to fakes, maybe things that are connected more to issues of ethics. That's not really, WIPO doesn't deal with it, but other UN agencies like UNESCO deals with these things. But I think for us at WIPO, we also want to make sure that we don't lose sight of the opportunities. Because Gen AI, I believe, can be a very powerful tool to empower creators and to empower innovators as well. For example, if you're a filmmaker and you don't have money, you're not being able to create a film based on the beautiful script that you have, that's based on your life experience. But with Gen AI, even though you don't have money, you can use Gen AI to generate a short film. And using that short film, right, you can get the attention of people around the world, maybe get attention of finances. And of course, I think even if we regulate the use of Gen AI, creators and musicians and other artists, right, will make use of it anyway to find new forms of creative expression. I think, for example, we have surveys that show that 60% of musicians, 60%, are already using Gen AI in some form to express themselves in new ways. Just like during my generation, when synthesizers and drum machines first came out, we as musicians embraced those electronic instruments to create new forms of music in the 1970s and the 1980s. So I think technology always becomes a tool. So I think what WIPO tries to do is that we are trying to make sure that the member states are able to come together as a global community. We organize a global conversation on IP and AI issues every 6 months. The next one will be on October 23rd and 24th, where we bring the 193 member states of WIPO, but also with industry, with civil society, with professors, with regulators, with ministers like the Minister of Justice, to come and talk about these issues. I don't think the world is ready for a IP and AI treaty yet, because I think that many countries are still trying to figure out their own domestic response to the Gen AI issue. And I think that difficult balance between technology and content, between copyright and new forms of technology, that's a balance that every country will need to figure out for itself. But what WIPO is trying to do is to make sure that in the meantime, we bring all of you together to talk about these issues. The second thing that we're trying to do is that make sure that we translate all of the conversations, right, into very concrete toolkits and recommendations, not to tell member states what to do, but to give you all of the steps and all of the different things that you need to think about as member states decide for themselves how to strike the right balance between all the different things that they need to. For example, how do you balance between the creative community and the technology community? And the third thing that we are going to do is that we're looking for very practical things that we can do to create opportunities for those who are in this space. So for example, working with the World Health Organization and the International Telecoms Union, ITU and WHO, we are pioneering a project to train AI entrepreneurs in Africa to solve healthcare problems in that part of the world. Why? Because without AI, without digitalization, you're not going to be able to manage your healthcare systems, you're not going to be able to manage patient data. We're also piloting a project in Southeast Asia to mentor AI entrepreneurs to address agricultural issues in Southeast Asia. So we are looking at the policy level of discussions. We're looking at tools that help member states to figure out the right policy responses to this. And the last thing is that we are helping deliver projects that support opportunities for those in the AI space. And maybe just my last thing before, I know there are many other speakers, but last thing I want to say is that the IP system has been around for 130 years, since the 1880s. And during that time, we in the IP community have seen countless of waves of technological revolutions. The aeroplane, the car, the transistor, sending someone to the moon, computers, e-commerce, the mobile phones and all of that. And each time, the IP system has remained a system that's able to incentivize innovation, because we have put the human creator, the human innovator at the center of the IP system. So my wish for all the member states is to make sure that whether it's AI or some new tool that will emerge, we don't know which way technology will turn, that all these tools are used to empower, enable, and support the human creator and the human innovator, and not to destroy, replace, or undermine the human creator or human innovator. And as long as the IP system focuses on that, as long as we understand technology, we adjust the law here and there, I think the IP system will continue to be relevant to all of you. I pledge WIPO support to work with all of you to make sure that AI and other new technologies will continue serving us as human beings. Thank you very much.
That was really a great start of discussion. And as you may have noticed, that we have started with the basis. In order to understand the topic of intellectual property, the innovation, we have already followed with Mr. Darren Tong about the opportunities that AI can provide, and also the humanity is at the center of innovation. And also you mentioned something very important about the incentives that AI can provide. And here I would like to move on to Mr. Datuk Noor Jazlan bin Tan Sri Muhammad, who is Deputy President of the Senate of Malaysia. And I assume that your daily life at work is often related to legal frameworks and regulation and so on and so forth. So how can regulation and these legal frameworks don't be an obstacle for innovation?
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Khalil. I have been a legislator for 20 years, and I was also, in some point of time, the Vice Minister for Internal Security. So as the Justice Minister knows, enforcement is a big problem. But the issue is to actually create the parameters using the legislation to, in a way, regulate AI. But we need the regulation at a global level before we can translate it down to the local level. Because today, AI, intellectual property, before piracy happened when people copy DVDs and then sell DVDs. Now it's streaming, so it's very difficult to control IP trade because it cross borders and it's invisible. When you add on dark web to it, it becomes almost impossible to regulate. And even if you want to bring a case, you want to bring somebody to court, it will take a long time. So that's the challenge that we have in creating the legislation. What is the framework that we need to use? At the moment, we follow the Marrakesh Treaty, where we only have laws on patents and IP. That is not enough, because we need to have laws to control the movement of IP in the world. The piracy of what Darren was saying just now about piracy of content creators, because this can actually stifle the future development of the entertainment industry and connected industries. Whatever AI does today is based on information that is vacuumed from the internet, current information. But we need to know. But once this information has been used, then there is no more information, and then creativity in that sense will be stifled if the content creators are not protected by law. So going forward, I think in my country, we are looking at several approaches. That means we have our dialogues with the local content creators. We have created something called My IP, to actually educate people on the how do you say, on the responsibilities when they are dealing with material which has a protected IP. We tell them, if you pirate this content illegally, you are actually depriving the content creator of his livelihood. And then if the person is no longer disincentivized by he cannot make money, he cannot make a living, therefore he will stop, and you won't be able to listen to his material anymore. So I think you have to have a mix also, since we cannot. It's quite difficult to control by legislation, so we have to educate the people. Other than that, the enforcement. Also, we need to educate and increase the capabilities of our enforcement officers so that they can zoom into meaningful work in enforcement, so that they don't waste their time, because it's so wide, the scope is so wide. You chase one end, somebody steals this other end. You go this end, somebody steals on this end. So it's very difficult to manage. So I think that is the approach that Malaysia is taking. Yeah. So make legislation, but based on global standards, and then educating the people how to be responsible, because they have to take care of the creators' interests. They have to make a living to create the content. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we can remember of two terms of education and responsibility. And now that we have an idea about this topic of intellectual property innovation from the international organization, let's delve into the regional institutions. And I will move on to Mr. Grigory Iviliev, the president of the Eurasian Patent Office. And we would like also to know the experience of your office regarding the intellectual property. And is there any particularity of work that you are addressing?
Уважаемые коллеги,
Distinguished colleagues, I'm impressed by the positions which have been expressed by the Mr. Darrington, and I would like to draw the attention to the fact that the AI as a tool approach, which approved by the IPO authority, that is the approach we need to follow. Within the last 10 years, the inventions within the AI fields increased by 20 times, and we faced this challenge, and we are ready to uh, work with this. And I see the presentation of the position of the YPO, but what's for the patent agencies? We are ready for this, so we need to publish the guidelines within this field. And general terminology, for instance, is quite clear for us. I would like to remind that the current laws are not allowed us to accept the softwares, mathematical algorithms, the other types of soft to acknowledge as the AI, but in fact they are the foundation of AI. But at the same time, we do have a technical solutions which have been designed by the use of AI tools. And the things which are not patented, we call non-technical characteristics. And in result of this, we create the technical solution which we can put within the patent terminology. And so here we can refer to the computer technologies within the design, for instance. Within the last several years, we enlarged our approaches within the patent technology. And I would like to mention that we analyzed the methodology of the IP5 agency, and our methods are correlating with those which are common for other leading agencies within the world. Uh, they can cooperate with other technical characteristics, and in fact, within the last years, it gives an impetus for the technological progress, and that is a quite um, loyal approach, but it's not the approach of the agency. That is a methodology which is quite relevant for the all IP communities within the world. And our technology proves that the use of AI tools within this approach is quite acceptable. What's for the copyrights and the legal status, I would like to mention the approach within the patent communities. It's been established in order to stimulate the creativity within people. And just imagine that the artificial intelligence is not able to assess what can be assessed by the human beings. What is given by the system of patenting? It gives the tools for the designers or engineers. They can evaluate the volume and amount of AI tools that they need. Uh, for instance, AI can understand the difference within the amount of money we can receive for the creative tool we design, for the company, for instance, or for the salaries which people receive. But for the emotional parts, for AI, how it can assess it? We gave the 50,000 patents not so far ago for the inventors from the Uzbekistan who use alkaloids for the treatment of leucoma. And 300,000 of diseases are registered annually within the whole world, and how we can use AI in order to use this drug of choice in order to reduce the tumor in size. They could be toxic for the body, but those who do understand all the processes, they do understand that we made one step forward in terms of conquering of this disease. And who can assess the importance of this invention? And it's not the only case we have. What kinds of ambitions of AI we can accept within this field? We work with, in this particular case, for instance, for the university who invented this approach. That is the case which is common for the Kazakhstan, I guess. And I would like to mention that the cardiological patents which been invented in Kazakhstan brought a lot of positive impact. I would like to call the national agency to understand that the approaches to the patents within the world are alike, and the analysis of the worldwide practice is necessary in order to follow the certain path. But the national agencies have certain initiatives, they need to be approved by the international experience. I would like to mention that the target audience of conceptor, those who use the technologies, been mentioned by the YPO. And so the last week we participated in meetings in order to hear the reports on methodology for the expertise, not only for the 3D applications. There's been already resolved, but for the use in the result of the expertise. But at the same time, all of us, we do agree with the things mentioned by Mr. Zhang, that the one who is responsible is the human beings. 3D technology is the AI use at a very high level. And I would like to mention that the patent agencies are oriented at the AI of the very high level. And even when we give the patents, and even within the work with the invention, we implemented the machine translation and electronic system of classification. So the introduction of new notions to our daily life, to our practice, to the things we achieved within modern world, and this requires a lot of handwork, creative approach from human beings. The AI tool will follow the certain path depending on us, and we are responsible for conquering the challenges and threats it gives. For instance, given the example of translation from English to Kazakh and many other languages, we need to create manually the database in order to allow translators all around the world to use the system and make the amendments within this. And the AI, which will work further, it will work on the basis of the impact of thousands of specialists and experts within, from linguistics and education field. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the shift from a speaker to a speaker give us a brief overview about the topic, and we have seen the international perspective as well as the Asian perspective with the minister and the deputy minister in Malaysia, and also the Eurasian countries. Let's move on now to Europe, okay? To give another perspective to Europe, and I'm not sure if we have with us the minister, the French minister, Mr. Laurent Saint-Martin. Is there with us? Yes, please round of applause for Minister Saint-Martin. So, Laurent Saint-Martin, he is the Minister Delegate for Foreign Trade and French National Abroad. And my question to you, Minister, is that we know that France was among the countries that have launched national AI strategies in 2018. And lately we have read the last report about AI strategies, so it would be great if you can share with us your experience regarding AI strategy and also innovation and intellectual property. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister of Justice and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to give me the opportunity in a nutshell to update after this report you mentioned the French strategy in terms of artificial intelligence, and as the title of this panel mentioned about IP as well, because it's a key topic. But maybe as you ask me what happened since this report of 2019, actually a lot happened in France, because we decided to make artificial intelligence a real priority for France, because we do believe that AI is not only a tech revolution, but a society revolution, and that it will change a lot of things in the world, included global and multilateral relationships. So we think it's absolutely key, and it's a priority as we deployed more than 2.5 billion euros since this report and since this strategy. But the main year of advancement for France was this year, 2025. As in February, France hosted the AI Action Summit, which reunited more than 100 countries included Kazakhstan, and thank you very much to the government and the president to this great participation, with 28 heads of state and major AI companies present. During this momentum, we had more than 109 billion euro investment from different countries to showcase that Europe and France in particular want to be a key player of artificial intelligence. And when I mean a key player, I mean every brick of this very complicated but very strategic value chain. Of course, when you are talking about France, you are talking about some key players that you already know, such as Mistral, for example. So when we are talking about LLMs, of course, France is in the middle of the game. But also when we are talking about superscaler and when you are talking about data centers. And actually, the 109 billion euro investment that I was mentioning is mainly about data centers. So, of course, for us, it's key. And during this Action Summit, we also were pleased to get the support of Kazakhstan and many other countries for the adoption of the political statement on inclusive and sustainable artificial intelligence for people and the planet. And this is as much important as AI itself. What is the purpose and what is the ethics that we want to focus on? So it was signed by 64 countries in total, which recognize the need for global reflection integrating the protection of intellectual property rights. So this is where I come to IP just in a nutshell. About IP protection, we do think that it is essential to the development on generative AI model, not only as a tool to incentivize innovation, but also as a real framework to ensure respect for creators' rights. So when we are talking about IP in AI, it's not only a question of protection, it's a question of framework and how we design the future of the century in terms of power, in terms of influence, and in terms, of course, of different strengths that will play a key role for artificial intelligence. So to sum up, we want AI to be a fully priority in France and in Europe. We want to be part in some very key bricks such as LLMs and superscaler and data center, and we want that ethic and IP be at the core of the debate and at the core of the solutions that we will find together. So, in another word, it's a multilateral question. It is a multilateral topic. And I guess this is why you organized this panel today, and I once again want to thank Kazakhstan for the fully support that we've done in February, and to thank you for the organization of this great forum, including very strategic topics such as AI and IP. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister, for your inspiring speech. And as you may have heard that AI is a priority in France as well as for the other countries, and there will be a focus on ethics and regulation. So let's get back again to origin countries and origin institutions and move on to Mr. Bahit Sultano, okay, who is the member of Collegium of Economics and Financial Policy, Origin Economic Commission. So I have a very particular question to you. Do you think that we can have a unified approach that can be applied everywhere for intellectual property, or is there any particularities or specificities that countries and regions must maintain?
Thank you very much for your question. I will try to answer in Russian. Ну, во-первых, я хотел...
First of all, I would like to say thank you to organizers and Minister of Justice, Minister of Justice, for giving the importance and high level of this event. I think that this is a very important platform for the knowledge exchange, experience exchange, especially within such difficult fields as intellectual property and AI. For the artificial intelligence, so not so far ago, we get used to the internet. We introduced the taxes on Google, for instance, and so we face the consequences. And what's for the issues of intellectual property, it's a much more difficult topic to discuss. Even I joined the departments on the development of competence within the Eurasian Economic Commission 1.5 years ago, and the competence starts from the intellectual property and vice versa. They are These issues are correlating, and the topic of intellectual property put us in a difficult choice, I guess. And within each country, we do have different approaches. For instance, I'm quite interested in Malaysian experience, and the governmental body started to regulate this topic at the legislative level, and it depends on the level of development in terms of legal fields and economical development of the country, as well as the social aspect of the issue itself. For instance, mentioning economy, Mr. Ivlev mentioned that they divided the mechanic from a non-mechanic approach, and that is the most easiest way today in order to start regulate the issue of patenting. In the Russian language, we use the expression meaning that we work from the middle of the room, and actually we accentualize our approach from the object itself, and then tend to regulate it at the legislative level and the other things also. This is the point to start. The key issue is who is the right owner, who is the owner of the products made by the AI, with the help of AI. Because we can have co-authors, many co-authors within one project, and the matching code of the organization which established it, those people who trained others. One here we refer to the billion of people who are responsible for the certain issues or introducing a certain data, but there are also the challenge of fake data to the training of the AI system, and this of course can affect to the product itself and introduce the fake characteristics. And here we have a lot of issues to discuss within the Eurasian Economic Union. We also discuss these issues within the agreements, and also the introduction of the policies of the member states of the Eurasian Economic Union. And the Commission itself, as the body, should regulate this issues, and that are the things we do. We have several platforms for this, including consultative committee within my department, which captures all the experts within the fields, and we gather annually. We prepare the analytical review on the practical approaches and development in terms of development of legislation. And annually also within the consultative committee, we regulate the reports on legislative practice together, and then provide the impetus for further development of the system. Last year, the head of the 5 states adopted the declaration on the development of Eurasian integration till 2030, so-called strategic document till the 2049, including the decree of the Eurasian Economic Commission for further joint work for our countries in terms of protection of intellectual property, and that is the work we have. We also have some practical draft designs on establishing of a unified system in order to have the register for the trademarks. But from the perspective of intellectual property, once again, I'd like to repeat, we have different levels of developments within different countries. And you are right in terms of necessity of having certain coordination and supervision, and that is provided by our platforms also. And once again, different countries use their own approaches, and that depends on their level of development. For instance, in Belarus, they started to make the drafts of legal acts. In Kazakhstan and Russia. We have a developed misconception. In Russia, they do have the concept on the AI. In Kyrgyz Republic, there is the consultative body which is already working within the other state bodies, which is responsible for the issue of coordination of further development of AI. And here it is important to use our knowledge and experience to use the joint approach in order to harmonize the legislative system and our approaches. And so the paid agencies, governmental bodies are working together within our platforms for this purpose. And international experience is also quite important because, as I mentioned, each country has its own characteristics in terms of development of AI and within other legal approaches connecting with this issue. And these platforms are necessary to be used, including today's Astana International Forum. And we work tightly together with other organizations. I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Darren Tang. Last year we met each other and we do have the joint projects, and so with the help of his team, we worked together with Mr. Hassan, for instance, and we organized the seminars joining 5 countries and webinars in order to share the knowledge we have and in order to receive the feedback. That is, I think, quite necessary for YPO also, and also to receive the whole picture of the regions, with challenges we have, for instance, and our further steps on organizing of joint events on such platforms when we do see the other integrations of experience exchange. And I would like to repeat that it seems like we do have similar integrations or approaches in terms of integrating of legal within the legal systems, but it is essential to see the other approaches from other international organizations and corporations. And all of these moments we tend to discuss within the platforms. Once again, I would like to use this opportunity to say thank you for the organizers and wish to have a successful discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sultanov, and we felt the hard work of coordination and supervision and how to launch joint initiatives and platforms, and this is something very important when we want to gather different stakeholders around a theme that is very hard to interpret, that is very hard to agree on. And I really liked your intervention, and thank you again, Mr. Minister. Okay, so let's move on now to another experience from North Macedonia. And we have with us Mr. Bisar Dormishi, Minister of Economy and Labor of the Republic of North Macedonia. And I would like to ask you, he's with us? Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, we would like to know the experience of your country regarding intellectual property and how to support innovation regarding SMEs and also startups.
Thank you very much. Before I start the speech or answer the questions, I want to mention two points. First, thank you this opportunity to be a part of this organization of this forum. And second, it's my first time in Astana in Kazakhstan. I want to mention that the city it's very, very beautiful. The people are kindly. I am surprised in a positive way. At North Macedonia, we strongly believe that building an innovation-driven economy is the way forward, and intellectual property plays a crucial role in this journey. We are in the final stage of developing a new national intellectual property strategy that ties IP policy directly to our broader development goals, especially to help small and medium-sized enterprises and startups thrive. For these businesses, IP isn't just about legal protection, it's a real business asset that can help them grow and compete. To make IP easier to understand and use, we are translating WIPO's quiet and diagnostic tool for startups into Macedonia. This will give our local innovators the practical knowledge they need to
navigate the IP system with confidence. At the same time, we are supporting digital transformation by backing teach entrepreneurs through our fund for innovation and technology development. We are also working hard to align our digital infrastructure and regulation with European Union standards so our economy stays competitive on the global stage. But having a strong IP system is just the beginning. To attract real investment into our creative sectors, especially in today's digital world, we need to combine solid legal protection with a supportive environment that encourages innovation. That's why we've put in place a comprehensive legal framework, including the law on innovation and the law on industrial property, which protect both private businesses and publicly funded research. We regularly update these laws to keep pace with EU and global standards. We've also strengthened our cybersecurity environment. Our national cybersecurity strategy for 2024 to 2028 supports safer digital operation for small businesses, and the draft law on network and information system security, prepared earlier this year, will align us to the important EU cybersecurity directives. We are taking a proactive approach through our upcoming SMI strategy, focusing on boosting innovation, encouraging collaboration between universities and businesses, and expanding digital skills. Through the European Digital Innovation Hub, we are already helping SMIs with digital upskilling, and programs that let them test new ideas before investing fully. At the same time, we are investing in infrastructure to build a stronger innovation landscape. This will include plans for 2 centers of excellence, a technology park, and ongoing support for accelerators and dedicated startups centers. Finally, we offer generous grants through the law for financial support of investment, covering up to half of investment cost, with a cap of €1 million to encourage companies to invest in technology development and research. We know there's more work to do, especially in improving IP enforcement and coordination between institutions, but we are committed to these improvements because our goal is clear: to create a secure, competitive, and welcoming environment where creative industries and startups can truly thrive. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Dormici. Thank you for sharing the experience of North Macedonia and related to how to protect intellectual property for SMEs and also startups. It was really very insightful. And now let's move on again to another experience, a very important experience, okay? And the experience of Russia. And it's an honor to welcome with us Mr. Yuri Zubov, who is the head of the Federal Service for Intellectual Property, Rospatent. A round of applause, please. So my question to you is of course, to share the experience of Russia, and I would add another question: is it possible to extend the experience that we'll be sharing with us to the other countries?
Спасибо большое.
Thank you so much. I would like to express the gratitude for the organizers for the invitation in order to have such a serious discussion with the experts. And I would like to say that Russia, of course, has the thorough approach to the AI technology, and it also expressed within the legal framework within different fields in Russia, and the AI technology is the one which requires the great focus, and it costs a lot. And we discussed the issue in terms of connecting AI with the IP and how they depend from each other in terms of further prospects. I would like to mention that within the government, we have the strategy on AI federal projects, which works within this legal framework, and this provides support for different type of companies within the legal framework, and they quite active in terms of sending an application for registering their patent. These systems, if we will take a closer look at the intellectual property from the perspective of a tool for further development of AI, and here we need to understand how AI developed in Russia. We take a close look to the patent data, and we have a free access each minute within the world. Uh, Technology is patents. Which is connected with the AI. The last year we have had more than 3 million patents, and this information gives us the necessary vision in terms of use of the tool. And within the ROS patent, we have the great approach. We developed the system which allows to have the continuous monitoring of development of AI, which can be used to the further analysis of patent information within the worldwide approach in order to discuss the R&Ds, for instance, in order to decrease the time of discussion and the time of from design to the ready done work. And this project is implemented jointly with several industries and ministries, and we plan to scale up it further and make it open to use within the Eurasian space, and our Eurasian colleagues and with our foreign colleagues also. In order to patent the invention, and it's not only invention, we just made with the help of AI, we elaborated the clear instructions. We are at the stage of approval of the law on establishing the conditions for the AI developments in order to patent algorithms, in order to give an understanding of the design models we have in industrial models, for instance. We do know what we refer to the computer interfaces and the graphic interfaces, and within this law and regulation we try to make the notion of this and describe all the necessary approaches for further patenting. And the second aspect is how we use AI within the intellectual property in Russia. Up to date, we use with a weak AI. We use weak AI, but we are focused on further work within this field. For the classification, it is necessary to use AI. First of all, the expert in Russian Federation receives the report on AI or the closest works regarding the work he or she does. Then it allows to make a search, and in Russia, in order to send the application for receiving the patent, you need to search, make a search in terms of graphic representation, and also input the wording, and use of AI allows us to decrease the amount of mistakes. I would like to mention that the artificial intelligence, here I refer to the generative AI, provide us with opportunity to protect intellectual property or the copyrights for the further use within the marketplaces in order to protect the creative works. We also design the legislative project, so-called economy of data, and we actively cooperate with marketplaces in order to introduce the regulations, so including legislative regulations on the use of production within this website. We have a cooperation with the Eurasian Patent Organization in terms of the exchange of different technologies, including 3D technology, and we ensure that this experience could be used by others. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this insightful sharing with us, Mr. Yuri Zobov. And we'll stay in Russia, and we're gonna move. Yes, no worries. Okay. We're gonna move just a little bit to China, and as you know, that China is one of the most advanced countries in AI. And here, maybe I will share. I will ask the tough question. In addition to the experience of China that we'll be sharing with Mr. Yang Su, the first level inspector, China National Intellectual Property Administration, that I will welcome. Yes, a round of applause, please. Okay. And the question here would be how we can help ensure the balance between innovation and also the right of creators. The floor is yours.
感谢主持人的提问。
Thank you so much. I would like to express my gratitude for the question. The artificial intelligence as a strategic technology leading to a new round of scientific and technological revolution, and of course changed the lifestyle a lot. The background, we do see the rapidly changing technology of AI, and there is a question how we can use the systems of AI in order to stimulate innovations and support the industrial development. And I guess it's the common issue for all the countries within the new realities. The managing of Intellectual Property Office of China attaches the great importance to the development of AI technology and has put us to a series of works in the fields of patenting. First, it improves the supervision and inspection standards in the field of artificial intelligence, introducing the amendments to the patent examination guidelines, and also design of the guidelines for filing applications for inventions related to the AI to guide the patent application processes in this field according to the regulations and standards. Here we need to use the technology of AI in order to enhance the connection between the source of information and human resources. The third point is the necessity of use of AI in the search process. Here we refer to the information search, also to the patent search, semantic search, and image search technologies, which need to be improved to increase the efficiency. In the fields of patent classification, we should apply intelligent classification technology to help classifiers in their work. In the field of patent examination, expand the application scenarios of AI by providing intelligent support in the form of smart research, online translation, image recognition. At present, the China Intellectual Property Office is actively exploring the application of large language model technologies for a series of research and project initiatives. We hope to use these technologies to deepen semantic understanding, further improve of efficiency and accuracy, assist examiners in better inventive step evaluation, and notice drafting, continuously improving workflows, and to enhance the quality and efficiency of patent examination. We will continue to explore new application scenarios, promote the optimization and upgrading of intelligent examination tools, and improve the patent examination systems. Of course, we do hope to have an active exchange between agencies in order to face the challenges together. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the experience of China regarding so many applications of LLMs, of face recognition that are aligned with the latest advanced technologies in the world. So thank you again, sir. Okay, so we're going to finish with our last speaker. It's not the last, but we would like to give you another perspective to the topic. In fact, we have discussed the topic from different perspectives, from international organizations, from the experience of countries, but how about the private sector? And we have with us the representative of AI policy in Meta, who will be sharing with us something very important regarding regarding the perspective of the private sector and how to adapt the intellectual properties. So I will give the floor to Salim Aziz, the Director of Public Policy at Meta. And I would like to ask you the following question. What are the main challenges that you are facing when you collaborate and you partner with different governments around the world? We know that we have many offices around the world and around regions. So what are the main challenges and how you can overcome this?
Thank you, Professor Khalil. If it's okay, maybe I'll just go up because I have to bend down a little bit.
Yes, please. A round of applause, please.
Apologies, thank you. I'm a little bit vertically challenged, so I have to bend down a bit. Pleased to be here. Thank you for this really important topic. As Professor mentioned, I'm part of Meta, global digital platform of just over 3 billion people that use our services daily. We are deeply invested in the development and application of AI, particularly, to benefit, obviously, Meta as a company, but also communities worldwide, including those in developing nations. I want to actually pick up on something Mr. Darren Tang said about AI, not being God. I think some people do think AI has come a long way. I think it's developed quite rapidly, but there's a lot of things that AI can't do, right? And I think the most advanced large language model today is probably as smart, maybe not even as smart as a house cat, right? There's like 4 fundamental things that AI still cannot do. AI cannot understand the physical world like humans or animals and others can. AI, it doesn't have persistent memory that humans and animals do. It cannot reason and plan. I know we have reasoning models, but that is different. AI truly cannot reason and plan. It can be trained on specific algorithms and reasoning. And lastly, AI cannot solve new problems. It just regurgitates. It's great for idea generation. If you give it a problem, a brand new problem, it can't solve it, that no one else has solved, or find a way to solve it, right? It can solve existing problems. So it's great for efficiency. It's useful. But I think we have to be very realistic when we talk about capabilities of AI. So I think it's important we frame this AI and IP question correctly. The core question before us is, how do you balance innovation with the creator rights in the age of AI? This is a question that Meta engages with daily. As the Director General also mentioned, AI is a tool. It's a transformative tool, much like the printing press, like the camera or the computer before it. It's designed to enhance human creativity and productivity, not to supplant it, right? So a foundational understanding is key here. That for a company like Meta and many other AI companies, including the French minister mentioned Mistral, I don't know how many people actually know. A lot of the folks at Mistral actually used to work at Meta's Fair Labs. So this is the beauty of open research and an open ecosystem, which is so crucial for countries to be a part of this AI development. But to develop a foundational model like Meta's Llama or Mistral or any other, it involves training these models with large amounts of data. It involves extracting patterns and facts and ideas from vast amounts of publicly available information. Now, this is a process of learning from underlying works to understand those concepts. It's not in itself an infringement of copyright. You're not storing that data. The purpose is not to reproduce protected expression from training data, but to understand those patterns and enable the model to generate entirely new content in response to the user prompts. So properly functioning and properly trained AI models do not represent or allow direct access to expressive content. They may have been trained on it. So the primary challenge that legal and policy regimes globally face is that how do you facilitate Gen AI innovation while respecting the established intellectual property principles that rights owners have? So at Meta, we advocate for copyright frameworks that enable both AI innovation and also flourishing the creative industries. This means embracing flexible models like fair use, and the text and data mining exceptions are super important for AI training. similar to those innovation-leading countries around the region, like obviously the United States, Japan, and Singapore as well, and many here in this room. So these principles allow models to learn efficiently, which is crucial for progress in AI. And for Meta's Llama, for instance, was trained on publicly available information in a manner consistent with existing laws. But while training these models on the publicly available data, we also want to empower content owners. So for example, Meta and many other companies in the industry, they respect the robots.txt protocol, which allows website owners to specify if their content should not be crawled. So you have an ability to opt out to say, please do not train on my data. This aligns with the industry best practices. There's also an challenge of transparency, right? So the sheer scale of data required to train these powerful models makes documenting and disclosing every piece of training data infeasible. It's almost impossible to know the copyright status of every single piece of publicly available data at that scale. So to just give you one example, the latest model from Meta called Llama 4 was trained on 30 trillion tokens of text, images, and video. So how do you categorize and create transparency on that? So if the transparency measures are deemed necessary, they must be reasonable and proportionate and reflect the technical realities of large-scale model training. They should not create innovation-averse burdens that, and must allow for the protection of trade secrets and confidential information, of course. So we believe that licensing for active training Gen AI models on publicly available data is not required under existing legal frameworks like fair use and text and data mining exceptions. Now, compulsory licensing schemes could inadvertently become mechanisms to simply transfer resources from AI to other sectors rather than fostering a balanced innovation ecosystem. But there's opportunities. I think there's opportunity for distinct voluntary market-driven licensing. I'll give you one example, and Meta has done a multi-year deal with Reuters for news, so that allows Meta's commercial assistant, the Meta AI assistant, to access Reuters' current news content, advancing the AI's ability to provide real-time, factual news summaries with clear attribution to the source. So this is an example of platform finds it's efficient to license specific pieces of content for a particular use case, in this case, news. It demonstrates that the market can and does find solutions on its own without additional policy intervention to mandate licensing for model training itself. I just want to end with the power of open source. I think we are deeply committed to making sure that AI is accessible to all, and which is why Meta commits to an open source approach to AI. What this means is that countries like Kazakhstan and countries in this room can actually use Meta's foundational models to train those models on your culture, on your values, to have the latest AI technology and make it accessible. In fact, Kazakhstan has done just that. They have, just before this session, I announced an accelerator program with the Ministry of Digital Development here in Kazakhstan with Minister Zaslan. And effectively, what they've done is they've trained Meta's Llama on 150 billion tokens of Kazakh and Russian language, and they have made it available to the entire Kazakh developer community. And so we're going to accelerate a lot of startups and developers to build public sector solutions using the model that Kazakhstan has built using Meta's Llama. So this is the beauty of collaboration that I think that countries and private sector can do to have AI sovereignty, have control over the culture values, not just language, but the culture and values of AI by using open source technology, which is what we support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sarim Aziz, for sharing your perspective from the meta angle. And as we have already noticed, that AI is just a tool. Okay, so we have learned from our expert, and they agreed on that, at least, that it is just a tool. And Mr. Sarim Aziz has shared also with us that AI does not reason. It just learns. So we can't say that we are at the beginning of this wave of AI and not at the end of this wave of AI. So we have to adapt maybe an agile and flexible approach in order to make some progress. And this is not for technology, but for the humanity at all. So we have seen during this session, and I'm not sure if we can share the poll or not. There is a poll that we can share in order to have the opinion of the participant, or we skip it. Okay, we can skip it because the organizer told me that we can share a poll to vote for something, just to let you know. Okay, let's do it just by our hands. What do you think for our participants and attendees who are with us? Okay, in your view, who should hold the right after listening to our experts? What do you think of this question? Who should hold the rights to content created with the use of AI? Who is responsible? Okay, the first, AI itself, okay, AI as a creator. The second one, okay, you can scan here the QR code. The second one, the person who used AI as a tool. So who is responsible? AI, this is the first option. The second one, the person who used AI as a tool. Please vote here in order to have a brief overview about your opinions. The third option, the company that developed the algorithm, okay, the company that developed the algorithm. The fourth option, no one, so such works should not be eligible for copyright protection. And the fifth one, if you have another answer, okay, and I'm not sure if our organizer can share with us the statistics of responses or answers, or we can skip it. Okay. We can wait for a minute in order to share with us the opinions of our participants. Okay? Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna see together the opinions of different attendees according to what you have followed as a discussion from our lineup of speakers. Okay, so 10% or not 10%, just okay. Nine people said that AI is the responsible. Okay. 58 people said that the person who used AI. So it depends of the use of AI. 20 people said that the company that has developed the algorithm is the one responsible of this, and 18 people said that no one, okay, and such works are not copyright. And the last one is, so we can have here a very good answer, because Thomas Edison, said one time that each invention depends, the value of invention depends on its use. So AI, similarly, we can say also that the use of AI will be responsible of its benefit or its disadvantage. And we can close this session. Thank you so much. We can have a photo here with our speaker. Our speakers, please.
Пожалуйста, спикеры, подойдите.